PEGI 18.
Welcome back to the EGL Open. I'm Brycey, and joining me, this will be our very first cast together.
Yep.
Je m'appelle Jonas. I got that totally wrong.
Yeah, because you said your name was Jonas, but my name is Jonas, obviously.
Hey, look, I don't do French. That's what we've got you. That's what you're for.
Exactly. I can teach you French. We've got plenty of time for that
You
today.
really can't teach me French. I'm no good at languages. However, I am good. I'm okay figuring out what game's coming on next. It is going to be fabE versus Rift, and this is actually a very important game. It can actually decide the group here, and there is a reason for that as well. Now, we did actually see fabE play just a minute ago against Splice. And the reason this game is so important, not only are Rift very confident, they've got players like Necrome in there.
Yep.
But so Rift, not enough, Rift believe they can beat Splice. That's the crazy thing about this. Splice are currently topping the group 2-0. fabE have yet to win a game. So the winner of this could very well be the team that comes out of the group.
And that could very be one of the teams that's going to qualify for the relegation tournament of the Pro Division. In my opinion, if Rift can beat fabE, then they can make it into the tournament, especially that I think they've been doing some decent results in those online games.
They certainly have. They've got enough points right now that if they do well in this tournament, they should be at relegation. So, bearing in mind that the points are when you get out of the groups, that's what they have to do here. Both of these teams are. This is more than just a game in a group. This is about getting out of the group. This is about making relegation. There is so much on the line for these two teams. Already, early in the day, early in what we've actually seen come through, it actually matters so much more than it looks like on the surface. So both teams, a lot of pressure for them here. You've got to really find out who's got the cojones to go through with it. Already, Rift have won one. And, you know, fabE have lost one. So fabE are going to be sitting there going, you know what, we're in a terrible position now.
They are in a terrible position, but at the same time, they've played the best team of the group, arguably, which is Splice, and they've done an amazing job.
Honestly, it was very close.
They lived up to the expectations until that second half of the uplink game, I want to say. They were extremely convincing going into that first half of the uplink game, but they weren't able to capitalize on those kills they were making. They were doing everything right, except maybe scoring those points and building up a lead. Going into the R point, it could have gone both ways. I want to say Splice kind of clutched up on that third deal onto the last rotation, but anyway, I was extremely surprised with how close he was, simply.
Oh, no, I agree with you here, and one of the things you've got to think about coming into this is Splice are the proven factor here. Splice are one of the top teams in Europe right now. They're a force to be reckoned with, and fabE came very, very close to taking them down. Now, whether or not Rift can match the same kind of caliber as Splice and take fabE is the real question. Now, for me, if I'm going to be perfectly honest, I am leaning towards fabE. And the reason for that is I've seen more of fabE than I have of Rift. The only reason that I would doubt fabE against this Rift squad is some of the talent on the roster.
I couldn't agree more with you. And honestly, I would go towards fabE as well, not simply because I've just seen more of them, but because they seem to me to be a LAN team. If you think about it, they haven't been doing great online in those qualification tournaments. They haven't qualified. They lost to Pulse online in the qualification tournament for the Pro Division. But the two times I've seen them online, they came this close of beating Splice because they played them in the qualification tournament in Cologne as well. And it was extremely close. And once again today, it was close. Kiwi and Barca being two very important factors and the player to watch on the fabE side. And I think the addition of Torres is quite an interesting one as well.
It is an interesting one. Obviously, that squad's changed up a little bit since the kind of the most famous period of this squad, way back at CWL qualification. So for me, you know, Torres has been one of those players, very storied player, very well-known player as well. And you've got to be wondering, you know, is he going to be able to bring the goods here? He's a well-known LAN player. I mean, he's been at the top of the scene before.
He has.
The issue being is that the players they're going up against have got the same background.
Exactly.
This is not a background of complete unknowns. fabE, like I said, are probably one of the fan favourites right now, and that's down a lot to their front man, Barca, in terms of popularity. However, like the other side, they've also got to remember they've got Ryder. Talk about a blast from the past actually coming back here. And from what I understand, you know, Necrome sat there, he's very, very confident. He goes, we're going to win this. He goes,
but that's an English thing. All the English players says they can beat any team.
Hey, confidence is great, right?
It is.
But no, I mean, he was talking about it. He said, look, he goes, I guarantee we can get a respawn. He goes, and no matter what happens, if it comes down to the search and destroy, if they get there, he goes, we will win that Search and Destroy. He said, I've been playing, Search and Destroy with Ryder for like 7-8 years. He goes, there's no way they're going to be able to outplay us on that.
Well, at the same time, if you think about it, Torres, Gunlit, and Kiwi, they've been playing it for
right?
years.
Yeah.
And they've been more active on the scene during the past years than someone like Necrom has been, because he's been, sure, he's a veteran, but he's been quiet for the past few years. On the other end,
he seems to come kind of fade in and out, actually, Necrom, if you're being perfectly honest with him. He's either one of these players who just turns up every so often, comes back in, gets in a semi-top team, not always the top. He's not talking about your Millenniums or your Epsilons here. Like the caliber of those squads we've got at this event. But he's always going to be in that mixing up at the top. So yeah, you got to wonder what he can do. I mean, for me, I'm kind of curious how Ryder's playing. I haven't seen Ryder in years.
Yeah, me neither. And I actually played against Ryder back in the years, and when I was a pro as well. And he was definitely a good player. He was that kind of guy that's really aggressive, smart player, definitely boosted a lot of experience playing at those EGL events. I mean, how many EGL events has Ryder played in? Probably a lot more than the fabE lineup. And another thing to consider is that we're playing today in England. So Rift is going up against their own, with their own crowd, whereas fabE, they're German in England. And we always see those kind of mainland European teams play a lot better in front of their hometown.
All right, well, I believe we're going to go to a quick little break, and we'll be right back with this one just after this.